Okay, we are live. And yes, Tio, I am fashionably late. It's a minute and a half, two minutes, maybe something like that. Coming in hot. Ken, listen, Ken, who's behind the scenes on this show, he is not surprised that I came screaming in just about 5 minutes ago. So it's a Sunday. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's a Sunday. So it's been a long day. Oddly enough, just I got so much stuff done today in a good way. I was up at 6:30. I baked a loaf of sourdough. I cleaned my sheet. I always wash my sheets on Sunday. I washed my sheets, fixed my bed, put some laundry away. I went to yoga and then I came home. I made yogurt. I picked vegetables from my garden. What else did I do? I did a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's been a good full day. Oh, I made body butter. I make homemade body butter because it's just, you don't have to make it yourself, but I love my body butter. It's thick and rich and it's so yummy on my skin and my hands. And thank you, Lily. Thank you. I'm in a little different spot here. So yeah, so I made body butter, which isn't quite done. It's sitting there. It has to go back in the refrigerator about halfway through the show. So about halfway through the show, I'm just gonna get up and I'm gonna go put that in the fridge so that it's done by the time I'm done, and then I can whip it and I can put it into its vessels and call it a day. I did not make kombucha, Tio. We've not gotten there yet. Well, Tio, the butter, hold on, let's see if I can, let's do this. Let me tell you a little bit about the butter. We're gonna get into our topics today, but this is good. You're gonna love this. Hold on, let's see. Okay, now, Ken, how do I get back to here? I don't want to do that yet. I want to go, oh, I gotta go here. Um, no, I'm going plus. No. Oh, for fudge sake. Hold on. Share again. Share again. Don't mind me. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now we got to do that. Okay, this is my butter. So it is called Butter for Play Personal Moisturizer. And you can see it's not harmful if swallowed. This was a culmination. I started making this years ago just for skin. I would use it on my hair in the summertime. I just wanted a nice rich, I literally wanted something to put on my skin that felt like butter. And I started making this. I started playing with the formula, so you can see here. So it starts off, we melt the butters. It's only 10 seconds, and then it gets whipped, and there you go. It's quite lovely. So that is the butter, and it is so yummy. So I have a lot of people who use it just on babies for diaper rash. It's excellent, incredibly healing for the skin, anti-aging. And of course, my menopausal women use it for dryness. So you can use your imagination there. And did I crash the whole screen? Did I do that? So that's the butter. So that's what I'm making tonight. And I have another batch. So you can, let me see, Ken, if you go to Butta, Butta, for FORPLAY, you like that play on words, .com, could you put that link into the know how to do that. How do I do that? Hold on. Let me go here. Let me just see if I can copy and paste it. You'd think I'd never done this before. There we go. Maybe. Let's see how that works. Okay. All right, hold on. It's loading. Okay. And then, yes, one can only imagine. Lily says, must be all the fresh air and sunshine. I'm getting so much fresh air and sunshine. Although it's cold today. I mean, it's not cold, cold. It's like 70, but it's cloudy. It's been on and off raining. It's windy. So it's just sort of that interesting in between. Like you go outside and you're a little chilly. It'd be a good day to garden. I did already harvest my vegetables today. So I'm kind of laying low now because I've been super busy. So that's the butter. Okay. And then I just dropped the link. So feel free to go there. You can place an order. I do not ship to Canada. I mean, I probably could, but it would probably be way too expensive. So let's just call it US orders for now. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so listen, a couple of things. I know a couple weeks ago on our live, I had promised I was going to do an episode on water. And I'm working on that episodes because there's a few things about the water that we need to there's some things that I would like to have in place with regards to the water, more data. I would like to find an expert. I know Ken has somebody he knows, but is not available. So I'm searching for some people who can come on who can help me with that episode. So you'll get your water episode because I think that's a really important one. But what's also really important is this whole cyclosporia outbreak. So we have the wildfire smoke and we have diarrhea lettuce. And so we need to talk about it because my patients are asking me about it constantly. My stupid table is, hold on, hold on. It's over here. Hold on.
I feel like we're in a restaurant and you're putting napkins under the corners of the table to get it balanced, right?
Yeah. I just folded up a something or other. Yeah, so we'll see how well that works. Okay, let's see. I'm in my kitchen. Normally, when I go live, I'm over there at my dining room table, but I love this little corner because I can look straight out the into my backyard. My daughter's laying on a blanket out there taking a nap. I can see my garden, so it's beautiful from here. So cyclosporia and smoke. So everybody's coming in. We'll start with the smoke, and then we're going to segue our way into the cyclosporia, where it's coming from, what can you do about it? Also, the smoke. People are thinking there's nothing they can do with regards to smoke. And so if it's out, if it's in the atmosphere, correct. You can't get rid of it. It's going to be there. So I'm going to lay out a few things that you can do in order to just to help protect yourself, ways to keep your health so that it's as on point as possible. So when we're exposed to these toxins, what is your body doing? And it's really all about creating an environment inside of yourself that your body can adapt to all of this craziness. So some people, boy, when the smoke first started coming in a few weeks ago, I knew some people that couldn't even go to work. They were so sidelined. They have asthma, they have allergies, they've got severe sinus issues, and they were never able to leave their house. And not necessarily because they were afraid to go outside, because they were literally physically so affected by the smoke that it was causing restriction in their lungs. It was causing so much congestion in their head that they were having a very hard time breathing. So it does affect many people differently. And it affected me. I don't particularly have health issues. So there's this scale of people. It will affect some people worse than others. Then you have to ask yourself, well, why does it affect some people worse than others? And you could say, well, okay, well, I have allergies, I have asthma, I have sinus issues. You can say you have all those things, but then why do you have all those things? What's going on with your body that it is struggling and causing you to have these things that are then causing your body not to adapt to its best capacity. So that's ultimately is continuing to ask the questions that take you as far upstream as possible so you can come up with solutions to help your body adapt, to help your body move its way through that with the least amount of disruption. That kind of environment, the smoke, is going to be incredibly disruptive regardless. But you then want to make sure that you are limiting the disruption. You are you're again, your body needs to get to an adaptable place. Tio says this show is going in every direction. Yeah, sorry. You've been here before though. You kind of know. You know what you're signing up for. So anyway. Okay, so let's go to, okay, I got a couple of links here that I had already pulled up. And of course, where did they go? I have some maps here. There it is, the smoke map. Okay. Get back. Share screen. Okay. This one. I'm going to share that one. And we're going to see where we are at right now. So, all right, this is a map of the US and Canada. And this is where the smoke and the fires are mostly affecting us right now. So if you look on here, these little red dots, these are where the little, they look like little fires or teardrops. So that's actually where the fires are up here in Canada. And then of course you can see all here in the western part of the United States, and then it's coming along down here. So it's really like west. It's sort of Midwest to west, and then a little bit in the south here. Now, these other colors, so green is, if we go down here, green is this air quality index, 0 to 50. It's good. This lime green, this really light green, that's really good. And then this a little bit darker green. So again, you're probably, if you're at this lime green, you're probably at 50. And if you're at a little darker, or I'm sorry, if you're at the lime green, you're probably 0. And if you're at this little darker green, you're probably at 50. Now we get into the yellows, and of course you can see here, this is still, so I'm just pulling up my location. So this is Lansing. Lansing's a little bit west of me. Let's see if I can actually, I thought I had this geo marked. Here we go. Let's go. And then go like this. All right, so that's me right there, is this green dot. So we're not doing too badly. This yellow dot, I think that was probably Lansing. Oh, that's Pinckney. Okay, so a little further west. Pinckney is about 30 minutes away. Now, also understand that these little bubbles, you know, it's not just, oh, it's just is existing in this tiny little bubble. You know, it moves. It moves with the wind and the breeze. So like I'm looking out at the sky right now, and it's a very white blue. It's not blue. It's white blue. So I don't necessarily know, you know, I know this is saying that we're between 0 and 50, but boy, my eyes are burning. They've been burning. I feel like we have something a little, I'm not going to say these aren't accurate. I don't know. They're supposed to be the most updated right now, but they don't feel very updated when you think about how your body is feeling with regards to this. The other thing too is this has been going on for a couple of months now. So it could show that it's mild right now, but how has your body been responding? How has it built up in your body? Again, what is the adaptability? How have you been adapting over these last several weeks? There was this, I've told this story a million times on so many different podcasts, but I'm going to tell it again because I think it's worth hearing, and it's such a great visual. And many years ago when I was taking chemistry, we did this experiment. It was called titration. So if anybody who's done chemistry out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. So stop sharing. So with titration, we took this, yes, accumulative effects. And so titration is the visual of how things will accumulate. So we had this clear liquid, and I honestly don't remember if it was water or if it was another chemical. But then we had a chemical called potassium permanganate, which is purple. And so we would take 1 drop of potassium permanganate and drop it into the clear liquid. And then we would take another drop and another drop. And we had to count the drops. Now, here's what would happen is it would stay clear, 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 drop, clear, drop, clear. Stayed clear, counting. And in my brain, I feel like I remember I got to like over 100 drops. But then what happens is suddenly that next drop turns the whole thing purple. So you don't see it in there until you add that one next drop. So that's that cumulative effect. That's the titration. Your cells get saturated with these toxic chemicals until that's where people are like, oh, this illness just came out of the blue, or they got diagnosed with cancer, they got diagnosed with some other autoimmune issue, and they're like, it just came out of nowhere. It didn't come out of nowhere. It's been titrating in your body for many months, many years, until finally your body could not flush it out anymore. So that's a really important concept to grasp when we're, again, this smoke's going to go away. And then when you're like, oh, the smoke's gone. Okay, I'm fine. You're not fine. That stuff is in you. You've been breathing it now for several weeks. So what do? We gotta make sure that we're protecting ourselves from this. So let me, Tio says the law of diminishing utility and the tipping point. I suppose the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So straw, and then one last straw breaks the camel's back. Let me see. I'm pulling this up here. Smoke and air pollution. Okay. So I just have my notes in front of me. So when we talk about this smoke and the air pollution, what I want you to understand is that this smoke is carrying other toxic chemicals. It doesn't necessarily mean that the smoke itself, that the fires have caused these other chemicals, but the smoke will then pull and concentrate other particulates. So you'll get different heavy metals in there from all of the chemtrails and the weather modification, and they're putting heavy metals in the air, they're putting all these toxic chemicals. So then smoke comes, and now everything starts to move together. And especially then if it's humid, now you get this heaviness in the air and everything falls even further. So recognizing that you're going to get even more toxic chemicals, not just from the smoke, but everything else that's being carried with it into your environment. Now, I had done just a quick video last week, the week before, when I don't remember, when it first came down, when this first started happening, where I told you guys, I said, you gotta get inside. You still need to move your bodies. That's a given. And so making sure I hate having my door wall, my windows, my doors closed. I need to hear the sounds of the outside environment when it's nice out. But I had to keep all the doors and windows closed because you can't get the smoke in the house. You've got to maintain your best air quality as best as you possibly can inside your home. And then of course, hydration, because your liver, your body is doing its best to flush itself out. And then of course, breath. So, are you breathing? Are you increasing your breath, even just doing some breath work? Because that exhaling is actually pushing out toxins. So I was going to yoga, I was doing infrared sauna, sweating everything out. I did that this morning. I do that regularly anyway, but thinking about all of those extra things that you can be doing. And then of course, making sure that you are putting the proper nutrients in your body, because your body needs extra building blocks in order to detoxify properly get rid of all that toxic load and stress, again, so it can adapt. Now, we're going to talk about food and supplementation here in a minute with regards to protecting your body from all of this smoke inhalation, but also it's going to relate to the diarrhea lettuce, the food contamination, the food poisoning. So that's something to be mindful of, is that how well can you build the resources inside your body so that when these things come along, you may or may not get affected. It's never a guarantee, but what's the least likely thing that what's the most you can do to offer you the least likely ability to be a detriment to your health. Now, let's say you end up getting some lettuce and you get this Cyclospora. Then, if you've put the proper building blocks in, now your body has the proper resources. Now, your body's ability to heal will improve. And I've seen this with a multitude of different diseases over the years, and where people get sick, if they've had the building blocks and the resources, they recover from it really quickly. This is like kids, you think like your kids get sick, they're sick for 48 hours and then they're fine. It's because their bodies are just constantly turning over cells. Their bodies are constantly in healing mode. And that's really something to pay attention to from a parenting perspective, because then I guess that's not 100% true. I would say like that's my kid. My kid also hasn't had any interventions as far as vaccinations go. So she's completely unvaxxed from birth. I had an incredibly healthy pregnancy. So my kid, if she gets sick, it's 24, 48 hours and she's fine. But I see a lot of kids who are getting overjabbed, fully on the schedules, and they're constantly on inhalers. Their parents are constantly giving them medications, and the kids are constantly sick. So this is only because, this is not saying, I'm not blaming those parents, but this is because those parents have been given a certain amount of information and it's not working. We have 50%, 1 in 2 kids have 2 or more chronic health issues in this country, and 1 in 3 are obese. So we have got to change what we're doing with our kids. And we got to get away from all of this, oh, we're just going to poke, jab, 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 put all of this outside stuff in you and you'll be healthy. No, it has skyrocketed our autoimmune rates, our cancer rates among children. It's just an abomination of our health. So without getting too sidelined there. Okay, so before I segue over into Cyclospora, let me answer a couple of questions. And also, like I said, I'm going to talk about nutrients and foods, but I want to bring all of that together after I talk about the Cyclospora. We have some free coffee coming in. Thank you so much for that. And Lily says, exactly, there's so many chemicals in smoke. It's crazy. Canada sprays glyphosate on forests in most provinces. Like, why? That's so stupid. And, glyphosate, I test a lot of my patients for glyphosate toxicity. For anybody who doesn't know what that is Roundup. So I test my patients for that. They've all been off the charts for it. I've had people say, but I haven't used it in years. Yeah, like because you got lied to, because we were lied to that this is good stuff. It doesn't stick around. No, sticks around in your body. It sticks around in cord blood. It sticks around in your foods. So it's even more important to give your liver those resources to make sure that it has a healthy way of detoxifying. More coffee. Thank you so much for the coffee, Frankie. Or Frank, is it Frank La Bar Frank? Vitamin C and antioxidants in general fight against smoke damage. Did you see my notes, Tio? Are you looking at my notes? Overuse of antibiotics has created superbugs. Yep, just completely wiping out the gut microbiome. Xylens, hi, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Always appreciate a new face. Make sure you are liking and subscribing and sharing, please. They spray to get rid of aspen and birch in the forest that create a valuable lumber, pine, and spruce. Jeez, it's so crazy. Just trying to manipulate Mother Nature, right? Okay, so let me get back over to, okay. Nope, that's not where I want to be. Ugh, sorry, keep clicking the wrong one. I don't, okay, wait, share my screen. Okay, fire. I think, let me see, hold on. All right, let's try this one. Let's try this one. I had a map. I had a map up. I had my map. Okay, is it here? Yeah, there it is. Why is this? And then, sorry, you guys gotta. Okay, well, we'll just go here for now. All right, so, and I don't even know where this page is. I keep losing my, there we go. I think that's it right there. Okay, so this is linked to iceberg lettuce in 9 states. So what had happened was this particular Cyclospora, it was linked to Taylor Farms in Mexico. And it was, you know, they produce lettuce, and then that lettuce got shipped around to different states, mostly in the Midwest. And so this Taylor Farms, they ended up on July 17th, they initiated a recall of all iceberg lettuce that was sourced from Central America. So don't eat the iceberg lettuce. And if you've been hearing more about this or paying attention to this, there was a big thing. They had targeted Taco Bell. So they had sold a lot of the lettuce to Taco Bell. A lot of people were seemingly getting sick from the Taco Bell lettuce. And so Taco Bell, they recalled all of that as well. Walmart also had quite a bit of recall, and they had linked it to the bagged lettuce going to Walmart. So that was another, hey, let's hedge our bets and send this, you know, get rid of this, pulled it back. So so obviously you're not going to eat any recalled lettuce, but what had really happened, which I found really interesting. So we're going to go here. Okay, I don't like that I have to unshare and then reshare. There's got to be a better way, Ken. Okay, so this one is interesting. All right, I'm going to add that to the stage, and then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go like that. Okay, should be able to see that a little bit better, I'm assuming. Oh no, I screwed something up there, didn't I? Oh no, I didn't. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so this was interesting. So they get this Cyclospora. I don't know what this is here. Can we just get rid of this? This needs to go away. That needs to go away. Okay. If I click on it, you know that it's going to like spam. Oh, there we go. Close. Okay, there we go. All right. So we have 11,500 suspected cases of cyclosporiasis in 41 states. RFK Jr. says the outbreak is under control. So we had 4,173 lab confirmed cases and 7,400 additional cases being investigated. Now, there is also speculation that there's even more than that because some people may have gotten it, not realized it, and then just didn't report it. Or maybe they got affected for a day or two and then they were fine. I had one patient who was sick for over 2 weeks. However, she's not healthy in general. So again, you see this trend of people who are really healthy, their bodies can fight it very quickly, where people who aren't as healthy, their bodies really struggle. So I thought this was really interesting. So Taylor Farms, they tested Taylor Farms lettuce. It was linked to their lettuce, and then the FDA, they said it was a false positive. Follow me here. So Taylor Farms had a false positive. And then, let me get down to here. They said, we do have the CDC, or Health and Human Services, says we have the outbreak under control. We've identified it. They're looking at the shredded lettuce from Taylor Farms. They pulled it from Taco Bell. They pulled it from Walmart. And then right here on July 19th, the Taylor Farms lettuce sample produced a false positive. Notice my air quotes. Then the FDA walked back its announcement. I'm just reading. The FDA walked back its announcement that Taylor Farms iceberg lettuce was infected with the parasite just days after executives from the produce company met with President Donald Trump at the White House. And the timing sparked controversy, especially since the company donated $1 million to President Trump's MAGA Inc. super PAC in March 2025, and millions more to other Republican committees in recent years. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just reading. I'm just reading. So, what can you do? What can you do? All right, let me get over onto my page here. So, when you have poor quality food, you're consuming a lot of alcohol, when you take any kind of medication, disclaimer, I'm not telling you to stop taking medications, but I have patients who are on a slew of medications. You cannot have a chemistry experiment going on inside your body and expect that your body's going to know what the hell to do. It's not hearing clear messaging. You could have other pathogens, meaning when you have a disrupted gut microbiome, you could have bacteria in there that is just causing so much disruption and chaos. That's where bloating and constipation, if you're not having a daily bowel movement. I had a young girl ask me the other day, she's like, what does that mean? I said, are you pooping every day? If you're not having a bowel movement every single day, you're holding on to toxins. Your body's more toxic, which makes it less likely to be able to filter out any new toxins coming in and adapt to a better place. Chronic stress, poor sleep, inadequate nutrition. These are all things that we talk about. Dr. Eric and I talk about this all the time. I talk about it all the time. You've got to pay attention to it. It's even more crucial that you pay attention to it now with all of this disruption with the air quality and then, of course, our food. Now, especially when we're talking about food consumption, it's if you can grow your own food, lettuce is so easy to grow. You can grow it in pots outside on your patio. You throw a few seeds in there and literally within a couple of weeks, you'll have lettuce. It's amazing. I grow different kinds of lettuces. I have kale, I have parsley, everything's outside. I walk outside and I pick it. I have cucumbers growing. I have all the vegetables I need outside. I don't have to buy lettuce from a store. But if you are not like me or other people who want to or like to grow your own food, then you have to start going to the farmers markets. There is a lot of people who, my mother was one of them. My mother was so healthy. She always cooked home cooked meals. Everything was fresh. It was tons of vegetables. Everything was clean. But she didn't like going to the farmer's market because it was too expensive. She thought it was too expensive. They charge way too much money. When they work really hard and they're providing a really high quality source of food for you. They also, so there's a couple of things here is that, this is E. coli. This is this cyclosporiasis comes from E. coli. So you have, if you're coming from a commercial field and you don't have access to the bathroom and you're on acres and acres and you can't get to the bathroom, you're going to go where you go. And so that's one way that gets spread. The other way that gets spread is through water. So now that contamination is there. They wash the vegetables, it's on the vegetables, and then the water spreads it through the food system. So that's another way. I didn't find this in my research on this, but I think it could be likely too, is that if you have animals, that find their way into the fields. And, if animals defecate in the fields, that could be a potential source of contamination. I mean, again, that's not unlikely in my opinion, although I didn't find anything to support that. But I mean, you got to think about it. Just, animals out walking in the field, they're going to go towards the lettuce. I mean, they love the lettuce. So that's another way. When you have local farmers, that is far less likely to happen. It's, the fields are smaller. Their access to bathrooms is much more accessible. And then you just have to hope that they're washing their hands. So that's another way that it gets spread. So it's just like this uncleanliness all around. And so it can get into the water. It can get onto look at how vast this has been. What did that say? 11,000 potential cases. And then of course, multi-state, nine states, 7 states, something like that. So it is everywhere, and it is something to pay attention to. So things that will make you feel safer about eating lettuce is if you grow it yourself. You're not out there pooping on it. Or then, like I said, you go to your local farmers market because they're more likely to have cleaner grown fruits and vegetables that are not contaminated. Now it's not just lettuce. So speaking of fruits and vegetables, it's not just lettuce. So berries were also implicated on here. Let me see where this is. Get back to I gotta find it on my notes. Sorry, guys. Okay. Get down into my Cyclospora. Okay. Yeah, so berries, different kinds of lettuces were in here. There was a handful of other things, but I think the lettuce was that was the biggest thing. That was the biggest culprit, contaminant, I guess, if you will, that was really causing the issue. I mean, think about things that like raspberries were one because it's hard, raspberry is delicate and it has a rough surface. And so it's hard to wash that off. Or strawberries, or like think of things that are tightly packed leaves, which is why the iceberg lettuce, because those leaves, if it gets, let's say it gets that contamination when it's grown like this, and then it continues to grow. Now it's like inside the freaking lettuce. So that's where the big part of that is. And then the cutting. So I learned this many years ago in one of my health classes, is that one of the reasons, like some people are like, they don't wash a cantaloupe, or they won't wash watermelon, or, anything that you have to cut into. But what happens is, let's say it's a watermelon and you don't wash the watermelon, you take your knife and you cut through the rind. And now if there's contamination on the rind, you just drew all of that contamination through the watermelon, and then you keep cutting, and now the whole watermelon gets contaminated. So it's really important to wash things first. Same thing with like washing the tops of cans. There are mice and rats in warehouses, and they get, they walk all over that stuff, and they defecate all over the canned foods. And so you got to wash the top of a can with soap and water, because otherwise you plunge your little can opener into it and you open it, and you just contaminated everything inside of it. So just starting to think about these little ways that you can really protect yourself is really important. Okay, so I'm going to read your comments, and then we're going to talk about nutrients and foods and how to protect yourself. Tio says glyphosate is sprayed everywhere by the government and corporations. Don't forget about your neighbor. It is sprayed everywhere by government and corporations, but your neighbors are out there every single day with a container of Roundup trying to kill the weeds in the cracks of their sidewalks. And they are not using it. They are using it, I'm going to call it off label, in the sense that when a farmer sprays his or her fields with glyphosate, they're in a friggin' hazmat suit. So yeah, it gets sprayed everywhere, it gets airborne, but your neighbor isn't in a hazmat suit. Your neighbor doesn't care. They're just spraying all over. They don't know. It's not that they don't care. They don't know. Lily says it's all about the money, honey. It sure is. It sure is. Xylens, good to see you. Tio says most people get sick from Taco Bell all the time anyway. So true. So the people who got sick from Taco Bell just chalked it up to the regular results from eating it. So true. I haven't eaten that garbage in years. So donate enough and your positive test becomes a false positive. Kind of what it sounds like, isn't it? Yeah, kind of what it sounds like. Flip side, were they targeted for who they support and then the truth was shown? Ooh, that's interesting too. Ooh, goodness gracious. I'm gonna go a little on that one because you never know these days, right? You never know the targeting. When you are healthy, bacteria, viruses, and funguses have difficulty taking hold of your body. Those that succumb are not healthy or have pre-existing illnesses or conditions. It's totally true, Lily. I'm having a little bit of sciatica, so I'm at I have this high top cafe table, which is really nice because I can just stand up and still be on this live feed. Either way, Ken's laughing. Was that funny?
Well, the thought that just came into my brain is your butt hurt. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, my butt hurts. It does, yeah. Okay, Tio says either way it reveals a significant issue within the political and economic structures, you think, and the FDA. And Xylon says, thanks. I thought it was hysterical about washing the cans. No, I learned that so many years ago. And now I'm like, no, like every can gets washed with soap and water before it gets open. Scott's Roundup is the largest polluter in the US. I mean, it's just insane. So, okay, so let's go. And if you are liking this content, make sure you are liking and subscribing and sharing it out to all your friends. Okay. Let me go to, let's get to, oh my gosh. You guys are not boring me at all. Honestly, it's just all me. Okay. So some produce washing practices. Now, you can use vinegar, you can use diluted vinegar. Now, none of these things are going to be 100%, but again, it's how do you hedge your bets from making sure that you are protecting yourself. So it's harder to remove from rough surfaces, like I said earlier, rather than like say a blueberry. But in some of the studies that they showed about washing this stuff off, it seemed like agitation and friction appeared to matter. So like, like washing with your hands, that would be friction. Or salad spinners, they utilize salad spinners in some of these studies about how to wash it off. And so if you rinsed it in vinegar and then put it like your lettuce and then put it in a salad spinner and then spun it out, was it the agitation and the friction from the salad spinner? Was it the diluted vinegar? They couldn't really tell, but either way, it was helpful in reducing the contamination. So some things to do: wash your hands before handling produce, and then remove the outer portion of the leaves. So whether it's cabbage or lettuces, you always want to just remove those outer leaves. Again, it could be on the inside, but we're just talking about what are all the different ways that you can hedge your bets. Separate leafy greens so water reaches individual surfaces. So especially like a head of romaine lettuce, you want to cut that end off, separate everything, and then you could put all the lettuces in, say, a bowl of diluted vinegar and just give it that agitation, wash all the dirt out of the spines, and then I usually put my lettuce on a towel and then just pat it dry. I don't go through this process because I pick it right outside my door. I just rinse it with water because there is there's some dirt out there because of dust and yeah, so I just wash the dirt off. Let's see. Scrub produce with a clean produce brush. You could do that. And then make sure you wash everything before cutting and peeling. Like I said, is that something can be on the outside and you don't want to cut through it and take that knife and take everything through it. Do not use bleach. Do not use bleach. I heard somewhere, this was from some other outbreak somewhere along the way, that putting bleach, a drop of bleach or whatever it was, into the water and then putting the lettuce or the food, no, that is never ever okay. It's like people, they clean their countertops with bleach and then they put their food on there to then prepare it. And I'm like, no, bleach should never be in your household. You should never have to use bleach. You like, get rid of it. It will cause asthma. It's called an asthmagen. So it causes asthma, and it can always worsen asthma. So you do not want to be anywhere around bleach. So you can cook your produce. Cooking also will kill the Cyclospora. And of course, you're not going to cook all your lettuces or your berries, but let's just say, broccoli, roast your cauliflower, things like that. So that's always helpful. Okay, so now let's go to, so here is some questions that you can ask your farmer. So you could ask your farmer, what type of water do you use for irrigation? Are they using, most of the time it's going to come from a well. Are they using rainwater? Probably not. They probably can't collect enough rainwater. How do you handle manure and compost? Do your workers have convenient access to toilets and hand washing? And then how is the produce washed? Is the food from multiple farms combined? That's an important piece. So one of the farmers that I buy my produce from at our local farmers market, he'll bring in, let's say, corn. The corn, he doesn't grow corn. The corn comes from his brother, which is the next farm over. So he'll say, oh, that's from my brother's farm, but I know he doesn't grow corn, so it's not commingled. So that's really important, is did it all just come from one place? So, and then how are things transported and refrigerated is another one. So you can ask that question. Okay, so now let's bring it all together. So let's talk about these nutrients. So what can you be doing? We already talked about hydration, making sure you're flushing your body out, making sure you're supporting yourself with certain nutrients. So I'm going to start here on colorful fruits and vegetables. Nope. Okay. We want to start with cruciferous vegetables, and here's why. So broccoli sprouts have an incredible amount of nutrients in them. Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, arugula, all of these, except for the arugula, come from what's called the brassica family. And they have a compound in them called sulforaphane. And sulforaphane has actually been shown to help fight cancer. So this is a massive compound that is so helpful for your liver, to help clear out your liver. It supports liver function, supports liver detoxification, and then it also can help if there's any, we talked about that titration, what's building up. So this will help flush those things out. Arugula and other, so like arugula and parsley, what else? I'm trying to, endive, the frisee, all of those bitter greens. Those bitter greens are actually, those are excellent, again, for liver function, for the prebiotics. So it's the bacteria or the compounds that help fuel your good bacteria in your gut, your probiotics. So bitter greens are amazing. A lot of people have an aversion to a bitter green, but God, I love arugula, and the spicier the better. Watercress is amazing if you can find good spicy watercress. I call that a Lebanese lunch. That's how I grew up, is we would have a big pile of watercress, some black olives, some Syrian cheese, and we'd just make a sandwich. We'd just stuff it right inside of a piece of pita bread, maybe with some sliced cucumbers and a tomato. And that was we would just eat like that. Was, put a big pile out and we would just eat like that. So a nice Lebanese lunch is, you look back and you go, gosh, yeah, We had our olive oil for our good fats. We had the the cruciferous veggies in there. I mean, it's interesting how when you look at different diets, like the Mediterranean diet, you look at that and it's not a diet, but the way people eat in Mediterranean lifestyle eating plan, that there's a purpose for it. There's a purpose for it. So anyway, so if you can add that into your diet, into your daily routine, some kind of cruciferous vegetables, you can cook, steam, saute. You can cauliflower rice. I just love roasted cauliflower. Grew up on that. So yummy. Colorful fruits and vegetables: berries, cherries, grapes, peppers, carrots, tomatoes, leafy greens, anything that has that rich color to it. These are high in polyphenols and phytonutrients, which help protect your cells from oxidative stress. So anytime your body is trying to just work its daily processes, this creates free radicals, it creates oxidative stress. And so you want to offset a lot of that stress in your cells, and this will absolutely help to fuel that. Again, you're trying to build this foundation for yourself, this nutritional foundation. Vitamin C rich foods. Why is vitamin C so important? Vitamin C is important because it is part of what's called the Krebs cycle, which is where all your energy is made. It's where all your metabolic your metabolic processes are produced in each and every cell, and we need that vitamin C for every cellular function. So we get vitamin C will support, again, a high antioxidant. Vitamin C vitamin C IV infusions have actually been shown to fight cancer. This is what they do in Europe. Instead of chemo, they actually use IV vitamin C as chemotherapy. So vitamin C is critical for immune function, for overall healing of the body. And if you have somebody in your town that you can get a vitamin C infusion, even better. So every time I go get an infusion, I will have them add more vitamin C to it. So this is bell peppers. So not just oranges and lemons, but bell peppers, citrus fruit, kiwi, strawberries, broccoli again. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are incredibly vitamin C rich food. Also super high in what's called lycopene. Lycopene, again, incredible for cellular health, oxidative stress, and healing. Sulfur containing foods. So these are going to be things like eggs, garlic, onions, leeks, those cruciferous vegetables again. So your broccoli, your cauliflower. And sulfur is important because it helps with the building block of glutathione. And glutathione think of it as it's the mother of all antioxidants in the body. So antioxidants are going to be like vitamin C, vitamin E, the things that help your body with those metabolic processes and that oxidative stress. And glutathione is way far upstream. So glutathione is the precursor to all of that. So these sulfur-containing foods help promote the building blocks for glutathione. Now, one of the things with garlic is garlic has a compound in it called allicin. Incredibly, powerful. If you have any kind of like candida or yeast issues, digestive issues, any kind of inflammatory, C. diff, anything like that going on, you want to do high dose garlic. There's, I think it's called Alamax. I forget which one it is. There's one that's on my online store. And there's Alamed and Alamax, and I forget which one. One of them is a little higher than garlic, but it's like one capsule is equivalent to 100 cloves of garlic. So I will use that when I'm really trying to make an impact. If I have somebody who's really struggling, really sick, I'm going to put them on high dose garlic. If you're just using garlic, we cook with garlic almost every day in this house. What you want to make sure that you do, though, is you want to smash that clove, chop it up, and you got to let it sit for at least 10 minutes, and then the allicin gets produced. If you just take that garlic and throw it into a pan, it didn't have enough time to produce the allicin. So you got to smash it, cut it up, let it sit, and then the allicin will start to produce. Then when you cook with it, you'll still get those benefits. So Lots and lots of garlic. And also, if you're like us in this house, everything that you cut on that cutting board will taste like garlic. So, including your watermelon. So, anybody else? Anybody else like that? Anybody else like that? Okay, quality protein. So chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, grass-fed beef, dairy if you tolerate dairy, but I like fermented dairy. So yogurt, and you can even buy probiotic cottage cheese. You can make it. Beans, lentils, tofu, quality protein powders. They have to be high quality protein powders that provide you with the branched chain amino acids, because that's critical for your liver. Your liver requires specific amino acids to be able to detoxify. So this is why juice cleanses, you've heard me say this a million times, juice cleanses are not, it's not a good way to detoxify, because you're not giving your liver the proper amino acids to be able to detoxify properly. So your body needs those amino acids to produce enzymes, antibodies, connective tissue, muscle. So for muscle retention, muscle healing, muscle repair, you're going to need the high quality protein. It also helps fuel neurotransmitters. And what is that? It's your brain. It's how your brain functions. So a lot of people who have brain fog, I'll look at their diets, and they're eating just a lot of carbohydrates and not enough protein. So we swap that, and we get them on a higher dose of protein, lower the carbohydrates, and they start to feel better. The brain starts to calm down. Protein also is fuel for your glutathione pathways too. So we want to, anything we can do to push that glutathione pathway. Okay, couple more, and I'll get back to questions. Fiber. So we have to have fiber. What fiber does, so veggies, berries, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, whole grains, if you can tolerate them, but whole grains would be like quinoa, actual whole wheat, if you can tolerate it. And I don't like when people take like Miralax and those over-the-counter things. A lot of them have wood pulp in them. And if you have to take that on a daily basis, that means you're not getting enough natural fibers in your diet. So I would encourage you to start looking at other sources of fiber that you can eat, that you can put in your diet. So things like ground flaxseed, chia seeds, more berries, the cruciferous vegetables. You'll get a ton of fiber with your cruciferous vegetables, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds again. Healthy fats and omega-3s, salmon, sardines, anchovies, walnuts, chia seeds, ground flax, omega-3 fatty acids. This actually helps with your cell membranes and helps with your brain function. It also helps with the inflammatory response. So all this stuff that we're exposed to creates so much inflammation in our body. So we have to be able to bring the inflammation down, support our liver to be able to get these toxins out, because otherwise then we just start recycling the inflammatory chemicals. So, okay. And then lastly, making sure you're getting proper hydration. I said this earlier, but hydration helps with your circulation, your digestion, helping improve bowel movements and making sure you're having regular bowel movements, mucus production, kidney function. We've got to make sure, these kidneys are going to stress through all of this as well. So the more water you have, the more your liver can bind the toxins to safely get it out through the kidneys. So, okay, so let me come back to the screen. Sorry, I was looking on a different screen there. So let me come back here to your comments and see what we got here. Okay, Lily's talking about critter collars. Okay. Cooked lettuce. I didn't say cook I specifically said don't cook the lettuce, Tio. If you cook your lettuce, we have a problem. I've heard that hydrogen peroxide is a better choice in the water solution to clean produce. I feel like I've heard that also, Lily. I can't say yes or no, but I feel like since you said that, that might be a thing. I have to look that up. But yeah, I would say, and it's better than bleach. Bitter greens stimulate your lymphatic system and digestive system. Yes. And Lily, I was like, oh, dandelion. I got to remember dandelion greens. Dandelion spring leaf in your spring salad is a great bitter. So when I was little, my mom used to do cooked dandelion greens, and she would get them from the Arabic store because Arabs, we eat dandelions. But there wasn't much I didn't like as a kid, but that was something about those greens. And you know, what's funny is I've tried them again as an adult, and it's a weird bitterness. It's a very off-putting bitterness to my palate. But again, something like endive and endive and arugula, those bitter greens are like, oh man, they're so yummy. So I love, oh, hold on, I got to put my body butter in the fridge. Okay. Thank you for that. And let's see. Tio says violet leaves are rich in vitamin C. Oh, I didn't realize they were edible. Interesting. Okay. Yes, legumes are good for glutathione. Did I say that, or are you just doubling down on what I did say? Plantain seed husks are good for fiber. Did not know that. Okay. Plantain seed husks. You're talking about, so like there's the plantain that grows in your lawn, and then there's the plantain that comes from banana. Like what are you talking about there? But interesting. Yeah, for sure, good for way better than Miralax. Milk thistle is definitely good for liver health. Yeah. And milk thistle is one of those things too. I'll have people say to me, you know, they're like, oh, I take milk thistle. I'm like, okay. It's just not enough. It's like you have to start thinking about what you're doing for your body, not from it's not one single nutrient. It's not one single thing. It has to be a collection of things. It has to support a cascade of things that are happening in your body. So I use products that have milk thistle in them, but I'll have patients come in and I'll just have one bottle of milk thistle, just milk thistle. I'm like, it's not enough. It's not enough. The broadleaf plantain herb that grows in the lawn. And it has seeds? Where do the seeds come from? Okay. I gotta look that up now because I don't spray my lawn. So if I could turn my camera around, I'd show you my lawn. It's brown. I don't water it either. I just don't, I don't need to have the most beautiful lawn. I want to water my garden. I'll spend money watering my garden, but I don't need to water my lawn. So sorry, lawn. It goes dormant. It comes back. Anyway, okay. So keep that in mind. You can go to my website, and if you go onto my website, which is, thank you, Ken. I'll drop it in the comments here. If you go there to my website, I've got a bunch of downloads, some shopping lists. Everything that I talked about today is a bit of a condensed version of anything that you can download on my website. So go download those and look through them. They're super valuable. I put a lot of time and effort into them, and people love them. They're really, really helpful. And if you download them to your phone, you can have it with you when you go shopping. So just get on it, start to, make sure you're really paying attention to what you're eating, what you're drinking, hydration, and all that good stuff. Lily is asking, Tio, you must forage on your property for the good stuff. I think everybody should forage on their property, as long as you don't spray. So I will get chickweed. I love chickweed in the springtime. I get a ton of it. And I will make tea out of that. Chickweed's a great, wild edible, incredible for your for liver, again, for digestion. Some people have said it helps with weight loss. I don't know about that, but it's kind of like this tonic for your liver and your kidneys. So really, really good. Thank you, Lily. Thank you as always for being here. I appreciate you. And okay. And then, Tio says, we try to get Paula to use the nettles, but no. Listen, I will take all the nettle and I will take all the pokeweed and I will send it. Just give me an address. I will send it off. Yeah. I also have a ton of lamb's quarter, which I don't, that's not so bad. And what else? Purslane. God, I grow purslane like a champ. But purslane's okay. Purslane's pretty and I like that succulent flavor. It's nice and like this high water content, so it's pretty flavorful. So Lily says stinging nettle is awesome. Sure, we'll call it that, Lily. We'll call it awesome. It is a vile weed that refuses to leave my yard. So I will send it to you. I'll send all of it to you. All right, you guys, I can go finish my body butter. Have an amazing week. I don't know if I'll see you next week. I've got an all weekend event next weekend. So if I can make it here on Sunday, you'll see something pop up on Sunday. But if not, I'll probably I might see you the following week. Last summer I took all of August off because it was such a beautiful summer. I was at the lake every Sunday. So we'll see. You're gonna don't miss me if I'm not here, but I'll be here. I'll be in and out. I'll be popping in and out. Tio says purslane is good with the omega-3 and 6 content. I didn't know that. That's why I'm like, there's something pretty special about it. I need to use it more. I don't go pick it as much as I should. So thank you, Xylens. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you are subscribing and liking and all of that. And yeah, the butter is amazing, Lily. It is amazing. So, okay, guys, I'm gonna head out. Have an awesome week, and we'll talk to you soon.